nothing unless it's in the mouth of those who frontin'. Deceived by the rap, we be in the trap. Deceived by the rap, we be in the trap. The ops ain't shit and I ain't saying nothing unless it's in the mouth of those who frontin'. Deceived by the rap, we be in the trap. Deceived by the rap, we be in the trap.
As I created, when I meditated, I had a mastermind alliance that I used to have. This gonna sound crazy when y'all hear this. I don't tell everybody this stuff, but I created a mental waterfall in a grassy, like a nice little piece of grass place right next to the waterfall. The waterfall is coming down, going into a nice river. The river is flowing. Then you got this bright grass, and then you got the masters sitting in a circle. The masters, Malcolm X. I know I had Malcolm X, I had Jesus, I had Muhammad, I had Confucius, I had Sun Tzu. All of these dudes were sitting in a circle. All the different people I've read, they were sitting in a circle. Now, what I was allowed to do to be there, I had to stand behind one of the masters who supported me being there. Usually I stood behind Malcolm. Somebody had to approve you to be there because I wasn't part of this divine circle, but I consider myself a student of one of these masters. And then whatever thoughts and ideas I was dealing with in prison, this is what these masters were discussing. And I would just stand back and watch them and listen to them talk, and I would take their ideas. Now, it's all me. All of it's me. It's all in my own head. But it's based off what I've read from these dudes. But it allowed me to get clarity. And so when this happened, I thought to myself, say, let's do that again. You know what I'm saying? But now let's feed this into AI and let AI do it for me. But let's do this again because AI is gonna be able to hit the internet. Because when I was doing it myself in my own head, I'm limited to what I've read so far. You know what I'm saying? What,
No,
what,
you're not. You
what,
think you are, but you're
you
not.
right. You know what? You're right. You 100% correct, D. When you said it, when you started shaking your head, first off, it said, "What the hell is he?" Then it snapped. You're 100% correct. Because when you are allowing yourself to get into that vibe that most you connect to God, basically, you connect to all knowledge that has ever existed, that will exist. And so you're right. I take that back. You're right.
And stop.
That's why my decision was so effective in prison, because I
You
wasn't
see
just
that?
relying on me.
I
Yeah.
know you can't make out what it
I
says,
see it. I can't
but
read it though. Yeah.
it's called the gateway experience. The gateway experience was a classified, I guess it was a classified document that the CIA used based on um, kind of almost similar to dealing with astral projection, but it actually is on the same level, exactly what you just talked about.
Yeah.
So you're not crazy. Not only you're not crazy, but that technique and that concept is known
Yeah.
in the
And see,
intelligence community, brother.
yeah.
Okay, all
Yeah.
right,
Yeah. And I thought,
and
well, I know
that's in my membership manual.
yeah.
Just tell you something. I
Mm.
put that in my membership manual. That's how important that was to me.
And the cold thing about that is I started to realize I wrote that in the uh the skills information development about how there is nothing we're creating, that this stuff already existed. We just start paying attention to it and tapping into it. Like I used the example of E equals MC squared. Einstein didn't make that up. The creative energy of the universe created that. Einstein just recognized it. And the same thing when I talk about this meditation technique, at the time I thought I made it up. I thought it was something I came up with, but I was reading, studying, fasting so much that I was paying attention, and that technique was given to me. You know what I'm saying? That technique,
Yeah,
like you just said, it already existed. People done wrote about it.
yeah.
People know about this. It's not something I came up with. You know what I'm saying? I just
You,
started noticing it.
You
all that
tapped
is
into. You
Yeah, I
tapped
tapped
into it.
into it.
that's that common sense culture from the ancients. This is the stuff war used to throw at us from time to time back in the day, martial arts and all of that type of shit.
Hmm.
It's the same thing when you zone out and you're doing the martial art thing, like Bruce Lee, he zoning out or tapping in or however you want to put it. he's channeling all of that shit. So yeah, it's before the CIA. You know,
Yeah.
this is
Yeah.
shit.
It
This
is.
millennium. This is all the way back. Matter of fact, what's his name? Alan Watts talks about it. Our babies, when they're born, they say that the sound, the first sound that they start making is typically something like that, not dad, that.
Mm-hmm.
Like they're
Yeah.
trying to say that, and that is a recognition of the all. You know what I mean? That's
Yeah.
Yeah.
you can't say in any certain terms, this is God or that's God, because those are all concepts. The closest you can get is to say, I am that. So the baby comes into the world being able still to tap into that shit and being aware of that shit, and we pull it out of it. And that's kind of, I think we had a debate some time ago about the idea of mathematics being created or something along those lines versus it was there and we just discovered it. That all of
Yeah.
these, everything, all of this shit that they're coming up with has already been
Yeah.
there. Quantum physics is the Western science interpretation of the ancient shit that we're talking about. They're coming to the same fucking conclusions. You know, in my head, Western science, the completely, was it external? I forget the word for it. Experience, all of that type of getting information is an earthly mechanical way to understand and interpret that which is beyond interpretation. You know, that tapping in and seeing all of that shit says that all of this is fake. All of this is pretend. Quantum physics is telling them the exact fucking same thing. And a lot of they're having to deal with it. And a lot of them heads are exploding and whatnot. And they coming up, you know, quantum computers and all this new shit. We already knew that. But now it's in fundamental basics so a kid can understand the type of terms. But it's the same shit we've been talking about for the whole time we fucking been here. And just
Yeah.
imagine that type of power from one person. Imagine if you had a whole community doing that shit and then ask about how the pyramids were created. That's fucking how they were created.
Yep.
Because
Yeah.
we knew how to do that shit. You can move these thousand ton blocks using sound, using voice, using all of this shit that we were tapped into. And it's so far beyond what Western science can admit, acknowledge, or even recognize readily. Even those that want to and do recognize it ain't telling nobody that that's the reason they don't want the community to come back together, because that power exists as a fundamental reality for us. That was fucking basic. You knew how to
Yep.
do that shit basic. You know, next level is how to actually, you know, manipulate. You understood. And then you move as a basic. You know what I'm saying? And then
Yeah.
you get into the mastery and the overstanding, and those were the ones who really went on up above, and you know the emerald tabs, right, and that type of shit and all of that. But yeah, you pursue that shit. Pursue that shit. That's all I'm gonna say. Pursue that shit.
And we used to have an elder, Bobby Hemmett, that used to talk on that. So,
Yeah, hell yeah. If I could find all of the video I find of him is fucked up audio.
yeah,
It's all echoing shit, and I can't do shit with it because I've wanted to put a lot of his shit on there. But yeah, that dude was fucking out this mind.
yeah. That's why I used to listen. I used to listen to him back in the day when y'all used to make fun of me with that when I would wear my 10-4. That's who I got it from.